I'm really excited to be here. When I saw what Charla was doing, it just spoke to my heart, and I couldn't wait to get involved. So I am going to share a little bit of my story and hopefully some information that is unique and different and maybe that you don't know today. Really great to see Lena talking about the body and the process that happens somatically for us, because I'm going to talk about that too, but about horses and how I have found healing with horses and how you can find it too. So I call myself an inspirator, someone who encourages, enlivens, instills courage, strength, purpose, and belief in the personal and professional lives of women. And I'm here today to talk to you about how living a heart-centered life can lead you to being more resilient. There's many definitions of resilience, and for today, all I want you to know about it is that you are born with it. You have it in you right here, right now, even today. And that for me, resilience is how we show up and when we're challenged and hit by fear. And what's really important to know about it is that there's an antidote to it, and it is trust. So trust in each other, trust in a higher power, trust in a higher purpose, and trust in ourselves. The title of this talk is The Art of Being an Unbridled Woman. An unbridled woman is a woman who has adopted a resilient mindset, who moves bravely in her world, who has the ability to stay in her heart while standing in her strengths. And she has an internal compass that she goes to first before anything else. Do you guys all know what a bridle is? Yeah? Good. So yeah, a bridle is a contraption that we put on a horse's head and in its mouth when it's being ridden. And in the right hands and with the right intentions, it can actually be used for the development and creation of a really deep and lovely relationship between the horse and rider. You know, we all need a little bit of confinement and direction and sometimes containment to maintain focus. But in the wrong hands, it can be used for control, discipline, coercion, and even punishment. So can you imagine having this contraption strapped to your head as a flight animal and the wrong person with the wrong intention being the driver of the reins? Pretty terrible, right? So I want you to now imagine if this contraption that was holding you back from being who you are was released. And this horse was unbridled and turned back into its pasture and out with its herd mates. What would that feel like? To me, freedom. But freedom is not the starting place. Freedom is the end result. So there's a whole journey and a process that happens before we can achieve freedom. And to me, through working with horses and my own self-discovery, I've discovered 4 stages to becoming an unbridled woman. The first is that we need to self-connect and reflect. So we need to connect to ourselves, and we need to be able to look back at where we've come, who we are, our stories, our experiences, our thoughts, and our feelings, and know how that has affected us or impacted us for today, our present life. Number 2 is that we release fear. We have to release the fear. So we have to be able to embrace the dance of when our barriers show up and tell us that we can't. Number 3 is that we need to reclaim our power. So we need to look at all of the patterns that we have individually around power, and we need to realize where we've let it go, where we've given it away, and where it's been taken, and we take it back. And only then are we in an empowered enough space to be able to, number 4, revive our freedom. So whatever that looks like for you. Horses are one of the main reasons that I am up on this stage today. They have taught me more about myself than any teacher, guru, therapist that I have been blessed with in my life has. They are magical to me. They're quiet and they're still and they're constantly in a state of presence, of awareness. They also have taught me that safety comes from being part of a herd or a tribe today. And that connection with like-minded spirits is what makes us whole. They are flight animals, so it is natural for them to always be in a state of tracking their environment and kind of assessing for the impact on their nervous system. They are the most peaceful and majestic animals because really they're very simple. They need to survive, they want to connect, and they long to live in peace. Not so different from us. They respond to things in an amazing way. When they are triggered by something that is unknown and that creates a response in them, they let fear guide them, not control them. This might mean that they look around, they scent the air, they feel into themselves, and they make a decision based on what their insides are telling them. So horses know the difference, that their body gives off signals all the time, and it informs them of the level of threat. They trust their insides first before anything else or anyone else. If something red flags for them, they move their feet as far away as possible before they stop and before their nervous system goes, "You're safe now, that's good." And they understand something about energy, and that is that they have a protection bubble. And if we breach that bubble without their permission, they will defend it. They'll strike, bite, kick, and they'll do it to harm. But the really interesting thing about horses is that when they are triggered by something that makes them afraid, they first assess the level of threat, and if it isn't do or die, they do something that we don't often do. They open their hearts. And they actually become very curious about what it is that is making them worried. And they move into what they are afraid of, not away from. I've had many opportunities to learn about trust, boundaries, and curiosity from my equine partners, and they are the masters of it all to me. And yes, I am a mother, a wife, a daughter, a friend, a coach, and a women's counselor, and I don't do that all with horses by my side all the time, but I do it with the essence of them in my heart always. I have experienced some of my own challenges, traumas, and losses. When I was young, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was blessed to have a family that knew that horses would be healing for me. Unlike some of the other kids in the hospital, I got to come home, and home meant wide open spaces, fresh air, puppy kisses, love and safety, and the therapy that only nature can provide, and the healing that only my four-legged friends could offer me. Life struck hard again when I was 9, and my father died on duty. He was a firefighter for the city of Calgary. Transition again. New fears, new confusion, new unknowns. To console myself, I would head out into the field, hang out with my four-legged friends. And, they are so still and quiet. And when they breathe their breath on you, you have this moment where nothing else is more important than just you and them. And that's where I started to learn a lot about horses and safety and trust and belonging. So fast forward through the teenage years and some career choices later. And I was always really passionate about women and women working together. So at this time, I was coaching a group of ladies, and we were outside. I used to often take women outside to combine the effects of movement and nature. And we were in circle, and we were discussing what everybody kind of got out of the end of this program, like what they took home and what was different about them and how they were changed inside. And something really cool happened, and that is that some of our herd members came through the trees and they joined our circle. And this was really amazing because I was seeing women stroking horses' necks over their backs, really exploring the curiosity within themselves. And something changed for me. There were tears and there were gratitude, and there was even some women who had an instant trust between women and horse. And it all came together. I was sitting back watching these beings that had been with me and there for me through my whole journey, and these women who had come to my home to really discover and explore their empowered selves. And all I could think of was that there was this actual pain in my chest. And I thought, wow, this moment is the moment that things are going to be different. It was a breaking free of the restrictions that I was holding on myself and the beliefs that I had that I needed to fit into the normal, the conventional way of doing something. I felt myself unbridling. It was then I knew I was meant to do something different. I was here to hold space for women to get in touch with a deeper, more rooted part of their being and to welcome them into a herd or a tribe that they felt safe within. See, we're not all that different from horses. We need to feel safe too, and connected and curious. And there is nothing better than teaching somebody a new experience of trust than a 1,200-pound animal that chooses you. We call this meet your teacher. And it's where we start to play with the idea that there is part of us that is longing to be seen or heard, and that there's another being out there that we might not even have had a connection to, or in this case, a different species, that is choosing us because of that longing. So I'm going to ask you guys all to play along. And we're going to practice being more like a horse. And I'm not going to ask you to get up and on all fours and run around the room. Because you see, horses connect in a somatic space, which means mindfully in our hearts and in our bodies. And they are really great at teaching us how to get out of our heads. So if you're game to play, get comfortable in your seats. I'll also ask you to close your eyes if you're okay to do so. And start to track your breath. Let's all take 3 deep breaths together. In and out. In and out. In and out. Now start to feel your feet on the floor. You might even push your feet against the floor and let them rock back and forth a little. Sit in the knowingness that you are sharing the floor with all these other beautiful women's feet here today. This is your herd today. We are all interconnected. Notice what happens when you take a moment to hear that you belong here. Now I want you to let something that fear has touched in you come to the surface of your mind. Something that may be happening in your life now or has in the past that has held you back, kept you voiceless, or maybe in defense for too long. Let your knowingness of this experience or person just sit on the surface of your curiosity. Move into it just a little, just like a horse. Stay with it and notice what's happening in your body. You may feel some tension somewhere, maybe even some tightening. Let your experience be your own. Now just take a second to memorize or just sticky note the location of these feelings in your body. emotions, memories, images, or thoughts that came up. And through the next 4 minutes, I want you to notice how it changes inside of you when you get to experience what it's like to be chosen and connect to the unbridled part of your soul.
Learning how to engage boundaries has changed my life.
I know you can pull power from places that you don't know you have.
So, working with Phantom, he was able to express exactly how I'd been feeling, even when I couldn't find the words to do it.
Since Roy has taught me trust, I have learned to just jump, take risks, believe in myself, and move through the fear.
Now that I am coming to a more empowered space within myself, I want other women to know that you can do this as well.
On the other side of fear is knowing. Just knowing that it's going to be okay, knowing that the universe has my back, knowing that I'm enough.
I came away focusing on me and what I really want. I learned to define my self-perception without the view and the influence of other people, and how to keep this true bond to myself, to empower myself and stay a strong woman.
Ladies, I want you to know that you are so strong. You're so strong for everything you have done, everything you are doing, and everything you're about to do.
So I now realize that there are so many possibilities, and it's a matter of changing my mindset and understanding that I have other choices that open up a whole new world to me.
I'm an unbridled woman.
I'm an unbridled woman.
I am an unbridled woman.
We are unbridled women.
I am an unbridled woman.
I'm an unbridled woman.
I am 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 an unbridled woman.
I know you can take charge of your own life.
I'm an unbridled woman, and you are an unbridled woman.
Following my heart's desires gave me freedom.
I want you to know you are not alone. You can learn to have the courage to follow your heart. Your heart is strong. It's the part of you that has always known who you are meant to become. You too can be an unbridled woman.
You know you're a sap when your own video makes you cry. Okay, let's get back into your body. Maybe you might want to track your breaths a few more times. Take inventory of how you feel now and what might be the same or what might have shifted. Notice the small shifts, what it's like to be part of a herd, to find that unbridled part of yourself. have a look around the room. Let your gaze wander. See all the other women here today, and breathe in the knowledge that for today, this is your herd, and that you now have an amazing experience that is shared together that no one else has. And that is a pretty awesome thing. I'm going to end today with a question for you all. If you, for today, were to let a little more horse spirit in and claim the unbridled part of yourself, where would your heart lead you? Thank you so much for letting me share the stage with you all today. It's been absolutely wonderful.